All right, looks like we're live on both platforms. Good morning, everyone. Anthony here, Puget Sound Stormwatch. Welcome into live breaking flood coverage. So part one of the atmospheric river event is winding down around the area, with the plume of moisture mainly sliding south of Olympia and Tacoma here, but this is expected to bring it back up north over our area starting late tonight into early tomorrow and continue across the area going into Thursday. And that's going to put a lot more pressure on a lot of these area rivers. All right. Hey there. Good morning, Judy Ray on Facebook. Whew. Say I tried forcing myself to get up earlier, but it just wasn't happening. I already feel like I was ran over by a truck this morning, but don't worry. I'm here for you guys. Whew. All right. First off, how's everyone doing this morning? If you're along a river, were you able to evacuate? Or if you know anyone along a river, were they able to evacuate in a timely manner? If they chose to evacuate? And we're also going to be showing off some of your photos here. So I just before I went live here, I made a Facebook post asking if you guys had any photos that you wanted to share on the stream to attach them to the comments. And I will show them on stream with full credit to you. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Says Skagit River's looking brutal. Yeah, I certainly believe it. Seeing quite a few of the weather guys have made it out to the falls this morning, and the falls just straight raging. So since the update last night, I mean, there's a whole lot to go over, guys. So, you know, we're gonna be going over it one by one here. And a couple of these rivers, a few of these actually hit major last night, but luckily with the break in the rain, they're starting to go below flood levels in some spots. Been watching out for you. We have 5 foot water in our deep. Sorry. It might be one of those days, guys. Might be have 5 foot deep water in our backyard. Are you at all able to get out of there before tomorrow? Because probably going to be a whole lot worse for some areas tomorrow. So if you weren't able to get out of there last night or this morning, you might want to consider getting out of there by tomorrow morning, maybe even tomorrow afternoon at the latest. Anyways, when it comes to major flood alerts, it looks like there's no changes when it comes to forecasts. Although we do have some that have been bouncing around minor and moderate flooding, though, including now the Chehalis River at Porter, which now has a flood warning in effect for it. It's been bumped up to moderate flooding forecast. The Willapa here, this is one interesting one. It was only forecasted to hit bank full stage. It might have been forecast to hit minor flood stage last night, so I'm not going to question this one very much, but it is currently minor flooding. Grays River is down to moderate flooding at the moment, and the Nacelle River is down to bank full stage, so no more major flooding expected on those, thankfully. Yes, we are. Yeah, if you can evacuate, please get out of there if you can. Newaukum River here in Chehalis is currently moderate flooding and has moderate flooding in its forecast. We have flood warnings in effect for a majority of the Chehalis River, although the Chehalis here near Doty, the flood warning was allowed to expire early this morning. Minor flooding has gone below flood limits. Curious why the Pilchuck River is not projected to flood. Yeah, the Pilchuck hasn't even had a forecast on it. I'm not sure why that is. It may not be one of the forecasted rivers that's covered here on the service. But you see, the gauge says it's not applicable. Not too sure about that one. That's a great question, though. All my neighbors have evacuated. Good. Thank you for your report on the Green River. Yeah, the Green River has some new updates as well. The Green River near Auburn actually just hit minor flood stage very recently. Let's check it out here. It hit minor flood stage between the 6:45 and 7:15 observation. So currently at minor flooding and expected to remain at minor flooding from now through. You guys aren't going to like this in East Auburn. It's going to probably be flooding until Friday night, maybe even Saturday morning. Luckily, expected to stay at minor. But the White River here, this could cause some serious problems down here in southeast Auburn. Currently bouncing around at action stage, but it's expected to hit minor flood stage sometime later today and then get up to major flood stage for over 24 hours. Sometime between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Thursday, and then continue into Friday night, and then hang around moderate forecast stage into the beginning of next week, which would be devastating. Yeah, and coincidentally, they just continued the flood warning there until further notice. I think this is the flood warning for the Green River, but for some reason, it's also covering the Cedar Zone too. You know, it may just be a resolution issue with the alert. Expecting some flood warnings here for the Cedar River at Renton and Landsberg soon. Moderate flooding at the falls currently, forecast to hit major flooding. Actually, we're just at major flooding and has allowed the crest to seep below major flood limits, but it's expected to have another much higher crest by tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So heads up down there. Snoqualmie and Skagit. Yeah, just moved to the Snoqualmie here. They upgraded the... Oh, this is bad news. They upgraded the Tolt near Carnation to major. And this is going to be very soon. This is going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. So if you're along the Tolt River here, going up from the Tolt Reservoir down the Carnation, please consider evacuating by tomorrow afternoon. You do not want to be along the Tolt when this thing floods. Trust me, I've been up this road several times, and it's just not going to be great for you guys if you don't get out of there very soon. Snoqualmie near Carnation, currently minor flooding, but expected to hit major flood stage. Likely going to hit moderate flood stage by today, and then crest at about 0.71 feet above major flood stage by 10 a.m. on Thursday before it goes down below flood limits. But look at the forecast here, expecting it to go back in the bank full stage by Wednesday night and Thursday morning of next week. Now let's see, Skagit. Yeah, so just put a flood warning out for the Skagit near Mount Vernon for major flooding this morning. This, if you have NOAA weather receivers, you probably had some activations on, if you're on channel 2 or 7. For some reason, they activated it for Snohomish County. There was an error, and it said Skagit River near Mount Vernon, Indiana, Snohomish County. So there was a big error by the NWS there. Not good. But only expected to minor flood by tonight and then go down to bank full stage and then rapidly go up to a crest of, look at this, within half a foot of the all-time record possible for the Skagit near Mount Vernon by Friday morning with that next system that comes through. So expecting the rain to really start up again either late tonight or tomorrow morning and just continue for 24 hours over almost a stagnant area. Really, really terrible news if that were to actually happen here. The Skagit River near Concrete just went below minor flood stage, but is expected to shoot way back up towards major flood stage here and get within about 3/4 of a foot, less than 9 inches of the all-time high record here near Concrete. And this is going to reach major flood stage sometime by tomorrow night. So just a big heads up, if you know anyone from Concrete downstream, this even includes, I think this is Rockport here too. So from where the Skagit and the Sauk River meet up here, downstream to the Skagit River Delta here, including parts of LaConner as well, you may want to keep tabs on this and consider getting out of there by later tonight. Suddenly you have riverfront property in Adna. No, we have a second crest on the way. What should we be expecting with the winds? Monday avoided us. Yeah, that's a great question. And I actually just discovered that they put out an additional wind advisory for us tonight, but not for all forecast zones now. This is a little more region specific here. But this is on the low end of the threshold. So from about Everett southwestward, there is a new wind advisory in effect for wind gusts of 40 miles per hour. Normally they don't issue this as an advisory, but they're probably a little more worried about the supersaturated soil that we have. They're expecting localized increased impacts with this. But wind advisory is in effect. This includes downtown Everett, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and parts of the coast as well. Basically the entire coast. Yeah, from Nia Bay down to Grayland, where the county warning area cuts off to Portland here. It includes Centralia, Chehalis, Olympia, Shelton, Tacoma area, Seattle area, Everett area, up towards Skagit County here. Just shy of Skagit County. So Stanwood and Arlington, you are not included in this. This also includes Bremerton up to the Kingston ferry terminal as well. Wind advisory in effect from 8 p.m. tonight to 8 p.m. Wednesday. I was hoping that was 8 a.m., but they must have higher confidence in something happening. Yeah, this wind advisory is not, let's make sure again. This wind advisory is not in effect for the foothills. Repeat, this wind advisory is not in effect for the foothills. So foothills, looks like you are safe for this round. Ooh, Ben, Michael, and the team are out at the falls this morning, and it looks like Jim Cantori actually just shared Ben's footage to his Twitter page. That's interesting. Don't see that too often around here. Yeah, south to southwest winds sustained 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 40 miles per hour. Northwest and west central Washington. So this is a 24-hour alert going into effect at 8 p.m. for winds. But yeah, Kim, don't worry. Like I said, Enumclaw, Buckley, you are not included in this wind advisory. Not included. This does not include foothill locations like Enumclaw, Maple Valley, Hobart, Black Diamond, Monroe. Just make sure for Monroe again. Yeah, it does not include Monroe, does not include Gold Bar, Sultan, any of these foothill spots. You're not included. The cutoff is the Snohomish area. Seen here. If you are outside of this black line here, you are not included in this wind advisory. Okay, so Eatonville, Graham, not included. Enumclaw, not included. LB, Ashford, not included. Did they just go over Concrete Skagit? Yeah, we'll go over that one more time. Hang on just a moment. I see a lot of your comments are flooding in. I promise pun was not intended there. Yeah, a lot of your comments coming in on Facebook. See a couple of you guys on YouTube. Hello, good morning, YouTube audience. Glad to be with you guys here again, although, oh boy, I definitely overdid it yesterday. So let's see here. Going through the comments again. Thank you for the report on the Green River, Snoqualmie, and Skagit. Yeah, we'll go over the Skagit one more time. Is the Dungeness at risk? Do not see anything for the Dungeness. Although, here near Squim, it's currently forecast to hit bank full stage, but not forecast to hit... It's not even forecast to get close to minor flood stage. It's actually barely forecast to hit bank full, like on the outskirts of it by tomorrow night at 10 p.m. They had a flood warning here for the Bogashil last night, but it only lasted a few hours before they canceled it. I really question why they even issued that at all. It was really not necessary. Currently moderate flooding here at the Skokomish near Potlatch. Minor flooding Satsop here near Satsop. Minor flooding at the Willapa. Moderate flooding Grays River near Rossburg. Moderate flooding here in Chehalis along the Newaukum. Minor flooding now happening for the Skookumchuck near Bucota city limits. Minor for the Deschutes near Mount Rainier. This one's interesting too. I think this one was bumped up to a minor flood forecast overnight. And then critical major flooding going on right now for the Cowlitz here at Randall. It's currently at major flood stage and expected to get even higher and continue in the major flood stage all the way into Friday morning. Terrible news for Randall downstream. This includes the Glenoma unincorporated area of Lewis County. So Randall, Glenoma downstream. Get out of there if you can, please. So no risk for the Dungeness by the looks of it. Cowlitz at Castle Rock. Flood warnings in effect for Cowlitz at Castle Rock as well as Kelso with minor flooding anticipated. These should be around the same time. Yeah, it's getting up there towards minor flood stage right now. It's been on a steady increase, so minor flooding expected here in the next couple of hours at the latest. But it shouldn't last long, thankfully. It'll last longer for the Cowlitz at Kelso, though. See, continuing to minor flood into the early morning hours Thursday. So flooding expected, and the warning has been issued for the Cowlitz here from Castle Rock southward. Snohomish River is projected 2 feet over record from 1975. Yeah, the Snohomish near Snohomish could be breaking an all-time record. That has been some breaking news around the area over the last 12 hours or so. See, it's projected even higher than the all-time record. It's now projected to break it by almost 2 feet. Really dangerous situation unfolding here in Snohomish, downstream towards Everett here. Now, I think the city of Everett itself is up on a plain, so I think they're safe. But the outlying areas of Everett here, yeah, just a devastating situation coming up in the next couple of days. If you can get out of here from the Snohomish area, I believe I heard Snohomish is up on a hill too, so it's safe. But these valleys here, like South Snohomish, from Monroe, from the tributary all the way down, the entire Snohomish River here, from its tributary down into Everett here at the Delta, is expecting a historic major flooding. Not just major flooding, but breaking that record by a mile, like shattering it. It's not great, guys. It's really not great. I can't even come up with the word I want this morning. It's an awful situation unfolding up here in Snohomish County. Luckily, the Skykomish River has dipped from major down to minor flooding, but it's expected to get at an even higher crest, 21.3 feet by tomorrow afternoon. Expected to get down to bankful stage by tonight and then rapidly increase to moderate flood stage with that next round of rain coming in between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. going into Wednesday morning. It's going to be around the same time we have that wind advisory go into effect for this area too. But luckily, it'll be west of Monroe city limits here. But for the town of Snohomish and Everett, you are included in this wind advisory going into effect tomorrow. The threats just to the rivers or part of the Puget Sound. Mainly the rivers, especially since most of these rivers eventually flow into the Puget Sound. It's gonna take a while for the Puget Sound to accept these floodwaters. So that's why a lot of these flood levels are going to be holding to at least minor flood stage for some time afterwards. You know, the Puget Sound has to make the room to accept these floodwaters so that you know, the flood eventually dissipates and the river returns to normal levels. But we need the rain to stop for that to happen first. Yeah, so I'll go over. Okay, missed the Cowlitz at Castle Rock also. Let's see here. Kent East Hill included in the wind. Let me check that one more time. Ooh, the server went down for power outage site. Best way to check it out would be interactive map. But Kent East Hill, you are not included, but you're on a fine line here. On a very fine line, so you could get some locally stronger gusts upwards of 30 to 35, maybe an outlying 40. But judging by the wind forecast, how it verified last night, I don't have high confidence in this forecast. I think they're just putting out the wind advisory for lower end winds just because of the heavily supersaturated soils and the flooding, which could cause locally amplified effects for tree damage, power outages, and loss of property. Hello, Coney Jones. Did you just miss the Skagit? So that makes two people that missed the Skagit. Yeah, so we'll go over the Skagit one more time here in the flood forecast. Skagit, they just put out the flood warning this morning for the Skagit River near Mount Vernon. They waited pretty late last night. Kind of disappointed in the NWS for waiting so long to put that out. They waited until about 10:30 or 11 last night. And we just got the ding again. Okay, we got some storm reports coming out. 3 miles north of Little Rock. So that was where we had the 2.65-inch rain report last night. The rainfall amount total actually doubled up to 5.2 inches at 9 a.m. That is 24 hours as of 9 a.m. yesterday. So 5.2 inches fell 3 miles north of Little Rock in Thurston County, just to the west of I-5 there, southwest of Tumwater in Olympia. Read some of your YouTube comments as well. Yeah, have to be concerned about the Pilchuck for sure. They only have one gauge along the Pilchuck by the looks of it, and it doesn't have a forecast on it. I don't know if they issue forecasts for the Pilchuck. I know they didn't issue any forecast for the Sultan or for the Wallace. I don't even think they don't have a gauge for the Wallace River here in Gold Bar. But yeah, major flooding forecasts along the entirety of the Skagit River from the Sauk and Skagit tributary here downstream, including towns such as Concrete, Birdsview, Lyman, Hamilton, Cedar-Woolley, Burlington, Mount Vernon, parts of Conway as well on the south end, the South Fork of the Skagit here, and the Delta here, which could include parts of LaConner as well, just outside of LaConner city limits. If you live along this plain of the Skagit River, please consider getting out of there by, at the very least, Wednesday night. It's currently just got below minor flood stage here near Concrete, but expected to have near record level crests here for the Skagit River near Concrete and Mount Vernon by Thursday morning. See, it comes within a half foot, so less than 6 inches between the all-time high record and the crest forecast by Friday morning at 4 a.m. for the Skagit River near Mount Vernon. So that gives you guys a little more time to prepare if you're along the river here. You have a couple of days before it's expected to hit major flood stage again. So please do heed those warnings and evacuate if you absolutely have to. Nooksack River, it has been upgraded to minor flooding in the forecast for 2 different zones here. For the Nooksack near Ferndale and the Nooksack at North Cedarville here, going into Sumas Mountain. Towns like Deming may be affected by this. But right now, no flooding expected for the town of Everson. However, this could change. These haven't had forecasts on these, so most likely you may want to be in heads up mode in case the Nooksack floods from Deming downstream to the Nooksack Delta here north of Bellingham. So minor flooding could be possible by Thursday afternoon for these areas. Even as late as Wednesday afternoon, we could hit minor flood stage along the Nooksack here. So just big heads up to you guys. Who is the gentleman who hosts this important news? Yes, so my name is Anthony, full name Anthony Croyle. I am the host and founder of Puget Sound Stormwatch, and glad to help you guys disseminate this information to yourself, your friends, and your family. So thank you for tuning in, Jennifer. Nice to meet you. Welcome. Stillaguamish, moderate flood stage expected. It's crested at high-level minor flood stage last night and has begun to recede below flood levels, but will gradually recede back to near major flood stage. They could bump this up to major flooding by Thursday morning, so just an FYI. It's literally within about 2 inches of the major flood threshold here. So Stillaguamish in Arlington. Minor flooding expected upstream towards Oso, though. And minor flooding also expected on the South Fork here in Granite Falls city limits. So hit minor flood stage last night, expected to hit another minor flood crest here between 10 p.m. tomorrow and 4 a.m. Thursday. Yeah, gladly, Jennifer. Welcome to Puget Sound Stormwatch on Facebook. If you're not already following, please do consider following us for future live updates and post updates like this one. And sorry if you guys are watching and you're sending messages. Trying to get to all of your messages as fast as possible, but due to stream volume, someone posted a road closure in Lewis County. Let's see here. So There's quite a few road closures in Lewis County. Randall, Chehalis, Centralia area, even in Doty there and Toledo. Doty along Highway 6 has some road closures. Pay attention to those road closures, folks. I wish I had an interactive... Well, actually, we do have an interactive site to check that out, and we can check that out later on as well. See what road closures we have right now. But recently, a flood warning for the Chehalis River in Centralia city limits. So heads up, Centralia. Flood warning for minor flooding is forecast. Okay, let's see here. On the line from Cowlitz and Castle Rock and Kelso, the fence is on the border. Yeah, if you don't have to, do not stay there. Kim says he did awesome last night. Thank you for the kind words. So yeah, that's the briefing on the Skagit. Major flooding expected by Wednesday night, Thursday morning with that next round of rain moving in. But right now, most of the rain is south of the Olympia area. Let's go check radar real quick. Radar scope just crashed, so we're gonna have to go to windy here real fast. Yeah, see, scattered showers moving into the Seattle area on the tail end of this atmospheric river. So this could put a little more pressure on these rivers, but no major rainfall expected to, at least until tonight for the Central Puget Sound area and its surrounding rivers. Just some showers right now, but most of the rain is down towards extreme northern Oregon and southwest Washington, mainly south of Chehalis here. Again, going to put a lot of pressure on these rivers like the Cowlitz, for example, where its headwaters are up at Mount Rainier. We got some storm reports. Let's go over that one more time. So, covered the 5.2 inches from 9 a.m. yesterday to 9 a.m. today for Little Rock area, Thurston County. The Stevens Pass reported 4.1 inches of just rain between 4 a.m. yesterday, 4 a.m. today. Not good for the Skykomish, where its headwaters feed up in Stevens Pass, because it's just rain and it's already saturated, so it's literally just running off straight into the river. Could have some devastating flooding in the next 36 hours along the Skykomish and areas downstream, including the Snohomish and Snoqualmie. Please heed those warnings, everyone. If you're anywhere along the Skykomish, the Snohomish, or the Snoqualmie, if you haven't already, please consider an evacuation. Good morning, everyone on YouTube. Sorry if I missed out. Reading a lot of these Facebook comments since that's where most of the audience is at the moment. Here's an alert that Montecito and Grace Harbor got this morning. Julie Bradford says Anthony is the host with the most. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, like Esteban says, Highway 9 there in Snohomish County. Please consider alternate routes. Most likely, if it hasn't already, will begin to flood over as the day continues later tonight and tomorrow. Again, in case you missed it, wind advisory for areas tonight through tomorrow night for the black highlighted areas. Along the coast, Nia Bay, all the way down to Grayland here, where the Pacific County cutoff is. It includes inland areas of the Chehalis River, like Montesano, Elma, Hoquiam, Aberdeen, Chehalis, Centralia, Toledo, Vader, Windlock, Napavine. This does not include the foothills, so I believe, let's change the opacity. Looks like Onalaska is just on the edge of this. So Onalaska right now safe, Cinnabar area safe. Looks like areas east of Mary's Corner should be safe from any strong winds tonight and tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning and tomorrow night as well. But this is a low-end wind advisory. Only 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts expected. But they're pushing this out because of those supersaturated soils, which could allow trees to fall much easier than dry soil. So just heads up, if you're anywhere in the black lines here, this does include downtown Everett, Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia, as well as Shelton, Bremerton, Paulsbo, Silverdale. It's the Homish area, Edmonds, Shoreline, Marysville, Lakewood area, Puyallup, Edgewood, Auburn, Kent, Renton, SeaTac, Yelmeria, Tumwater, Centralia, Chehalis, like I said earlier, and also areas along 507 here, such as Tenino and Bucota, and Rainier as well. So if you heard your city called, you're in a wind advisory from 8 p.m. tonight to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Wind gusts of 40 miles per hour from the south to southwest expected. Let's go check PSC out of curiosity. We were at 6,500 last night. They're down to about 5,000, but still, I still haven't been able to fix that power outage here at the pass. See, still out of power. Snoqualmie Pass downwards towards Easton here, affecting looks like the Lake Cochise campground is also out of power too. There's a few sporadic power outages. They repaired most of this outage affecting the Skykomish area, but it looks like Bering is still in the dark along Highway 2. And a power outage this morning here in Marble Mount as well. This is just PSC. I think this might have been from last night. No, early this morning. This was within the last 15 minutes. Power outage took out parts of Tumwater here. The power outage affecting Tumwater city limits as of 15 minutes ago. Over 2,500 people impacted. There's still a power outage here along the Stampede Pass rail corridor from Leicester up towards the pass here. Even though I believe this is closed off to the public, there's still people that live out here that are currently in the dark and have... See, it went way past their ETA at 1:30 p.m. Not good for that area here, going up the Stampede Pass. Yeah, so a lot of areas did not get the wind yesterday. Coincidentally, actually, my friend Matthew, who lives in Federal Way, he's the owner of Western Washington Weather here on Facebook and YouTube. He recorded a 47-mile-per-hour gust from the southwest after the wind advisory expired. And I felt that one too. I felt a really big whip outside from the wind. It measured 47 miles per hour up the street from me after the advisory had already expired. This tells you Mother Nature is undefeated. It waits till after the advisory to begin kicking up here in Federal Way. Isn't that just lovely? But some areas, we did get strong wind advisory level gusts in some areas, including along the Tacoma Narrows Strait, which got 49 miles per hour yesterday during the advisory. So by definition, you could say it's not a bust since we had at least one measurement of wind advisory level criteria gusts within the advisory area. But yeah, about 80% of you completely missed out from the wind. So in theory, yes, you could say that it was a bust. But wind shouldn't be a problem until later on this afternoon, just a heads up. Right now, just really breezy. Some areas not even feeling wind at all around the Puget Sound here. Ooh, moderate flooding here for the Yakima and the Natchez rivers. You don't see that too often from an atmospheric river on the west side, but also the wet side. Yeah, a lot of these rivers here at minor flooding, with the Snoqualmie currently at moderate. Even the Green River here in Auburn near the golf course is flooding a little bit too. Bring your pets in. Yes, bring your pets in if you're in the wind advisory area tonight. Although it may not get up to that level, they still have higher confidence due to the supersaturated soils. So even wind gusts of 30 miles per hour could cause serious damage in some areas with those heavily weakened tree roots. We got big wind too, then all was still. Yeah, it probably wasn't up to wind advisory criteria though. That's probably the difference. Like, a lot of people were ready for winds and flood, and they only got the floods. So had to hear about it from a few people already this morning about the winds not verifying for their area. Rain got sideways here last night in Port Angeles. Packwood Improvement Club is open as an emergency shelter. So Lewis County folks up in Packwood, the Packwood Improvement Club is an emergency shelter. They have kits, blankets, and a kitchen. They're also looking for volunteers. That is courtesy of Stormy here on YouTube. If you guys are up in Packwood and want to look for an emergency shelter or volunteer for a shelter, look at Packwood Improvement Club. That is Packwood Improvement Club. Thank you, Stormy, for bringing that up to our attention. Did I hear Everett? Yes, Everett is in a wind advisory, but wind gusts only up to 40 miles per hour expected. They're really only putting it out because of how saturated the soils are going to be across much of the area. So it's a lower end event, but still could cause damage in a lot of areas with weakened roots. And with the flooding eating away at trees as well, that's also going to cause some huge issues. Jennifer is in Cathlamet. Dagmar Devere, Natchez is raging. One of the tributaries to Nile River took out the supports of the bridge at Nile. Wow. Pictures of the collapsed deck with a car that fell into the chasm. Really? Speaking of pictures and video, let's go check out your comments on Facebook, see if there's anything you guys want to share with us. I saw at least one video, but if you guys want to share photos or videos here on Facebook, you can comment them down in my last post here, starting out with "Good morning, everyone," and then ending off with, "If you have any photos or videos you'd like me to share to the stream with full credit to you, please attach them in the comments." See if you guys have any submissions. Looks like we do have one from Julie Bradford here in Oso. This is from Julie Bradford on Facebook. River running high, but not quite the bank full stage, which is good news. But yeah, thank you, Julie Bradford, for sharing that with us. Someone's asking about the Puyallup. Hang on just a second, folks. Yep, that is Julie Bradford, aka Jaw George, here on YouTube. Watching from the kitchen window, still dropping. Good. Road closure map. Looks like this is a King County public GIS link. Let's load this up real quick. Oh yeah, thank you for this great resource. Yeah, this is really informative. King County folks here. So they've closed the back roads along Highway 203 along the Snoqualmie River here in Falls City limits. So again, Dagmar Devere just posted this link in Facebook, but I'll post it for you YouTube folks as well. No, actually, the link's too long. That's disappointing. But thank you for sharing this resource with me. I think you should be able to get close enough. Let me check if the first part of this link works. Yeah, it does. So the first part of the link works. So you don't have to worry about all the mumbo jumbo in the end there. But here's a link for you YouTube people to find this map if you're in King County here. Then this is West Snoqualmie River Road closed from Carnation down to Falls City, city limits, due to flooding at the moment. It looks like we have a lot of traffic cameras too. See if we can pull one of these up. It's pretty low resolution, unfortunately. But yeah, great resource that was just brought up by Dagmar. So VZ Cumberland Road is blocked off here. Northeast Enumclaw area too. Yeah, in case you guys want to check out road closures here in King County, there's a great resource attached by Dagmar. All right, Jennifer Backus, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Ended up flooding a lot low-lying roadways there in Snoqualmie. What's fascinating to me about this is that not even an hour prior, all those roads were clear. Yeah, that's very interesting, Patrick Morrison, and could get much higher as well, starting Tuesday night and going through Wednesday morning. Yeah, we do have a great group here, Julie. Other Julie. Yeah, sure thing. Exit 72 Napavine is closed. Thank you for the heads up. Exit 72 Napavine closed due to flooding. Again, moderate flooding currently occurring here at the Newaukum outside of Chehalis here. Just southeast of Chehalis down there in the valley. Got very close to major flooding there. It actually gets within 0.08 feet of not only major flooding, but the all-time record there as well. Even a little bit of a blip there, and we could easily have major flooding down here in the Newaukum Valley area, just outside of Chehalis city limits. Okay, and then Cassandra has a link for Lewis County as well. Let's go try this out real fast. Oh, that's the closure list. Okay. I wonder if there's a shorter link for this. Because I don't know if this link's going to work in YouTube. Let me try this out. No, it's one character too long. See if it works without the G at the end. Think so. No, we're going to try it like that. Let me know if you have problems seeing that link on YouTube. Highway 12 closed at mile marker 109. Can't get from Randall to Packwood. Oh man, I really hope people in Packwood are at that shelter if they couldn't evacuate. Otherwise, it's going to be a long rest of the week for you guys up in Packwood, because it looks like are they really cut off from the rest of Randall area? Is that right? Link for road closures in Lewis County. Thank you so much, Cassandra. I shared that with the YouTube audience as well. Facebook audience, if you're watching, Cassandra Gunter, again, sorry if I butchered your last name, just posted a link here in the Facebook comments for Lewis County road closures by jurisdiction. Thank you for that, Cassandra. All right, so yeah, major flooding currently occurring again, in case you missed it. Cowlitz River at Randall. Expected to dip just below major flood stage here for a little bit tonight, but then surge back into major flood stage at a record crest here. Possible record daily crest on the 11th, which is Thursday. But not quite up there to the all-time high, which is good news. At least not yet. The record crest of 23.76 feet is expected Thursday morning by 4 a.m., and it doesn't go below major flood stage until Friday morning at 10 a.m. This affects Randall, Glenoma, and areas downwards to Tatenham Park here, the state park right on the end of Rife Lake here. So anyone in this park boundary down here, and I've been camping at this park too. It's basically right along the river there. Just big heads up to you guys. Big heads up. 66th Avenue Bridge on River Road. That's the one in Puyallup. They closed that due to flooding now, huh? Is that right? You're talking about the Milroy Bridge right there? Green Valley meets in Auburn completely flooded. That's right down here. Let's zoom into that right now. I know exactly where that is. I used to go to Flaming Geyser State Park all the time as a kid. This is Green Valley meets right down here. Green Valley Road and Black Diamond underwater, according to William Gatlin, one of my moderators. And yeah, Rob says yes, Milroy Bridge. Yeah, they had a delayed report, but last night there, when that front came through, and that huge front came through Grays Harbor, and we had a 68-mile-per-hour wind gust out of the west-northwest by Bowerman Airfield here. Can't see it very well because this is an archived image with the radar. But they had a 68-mile-per-hour gust there out of the west-northwest here. Once that front just passed over, you can just see the front right over the airport right there. Probably some downslope off the Olympics into the Hoquiam area. This is why I was concerned for this front to move over the Black Hills into Olympia, because we could have gotten that downslope wind again, but luckily that did not happen. I think the front was already decaying by that time, so that really helped. Or else they could have gotten some downslope winds. Ooh, here's an update for you guys. Green River near Auburn now expected to hit moderate flood stage. Not just later on, but very soon. Making a rise here. These are updated every 15 minutes. And it's making a sharp rise up towards moderate flood stage. Expected to hit moderate flood stage at 68.2 feet by 4 p.m. today. So heads up if you live along the Green River here in Auburn, as well as Black Diamond, Green Valley Road area. Could have some flooding here at Flaming Geyser State Park as well. Flaming Geyser is here. So yeah. This is a really nice park, but when the Green River floods, it floods all the campgrounds and the beach area around Flaming Geyser. I've seen it before as a little kid. But yeah, in case you missed it, also moderate flooding in the forecast for Cedar River at Landsberg and Renton. So the entirety of the Cedar River from Chester Morse downwards towards Renton at Lake Washington could hit moderate flood stage as soon as Thursday morning and last into moderate flood stage through Friday morning, but likely lasting into at least minor flood stage by Sunday morning. Now it looks like Issaquah Creek's at bank full stage. It may actually minor flood as we go into Thursday morning here. It gets really close up to that minor flood level, within about 59 cubic feet per second of flow. We have moderate flooding occurring at the Snohomish River near Monroe right now, expected to hit major flood and get really close to that all-time high record here at Monroe as well. See, within 0.35 feet. That is less than 6 inches. Expected to hit that by Thursday afternoon, but major flood stage is expected between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow, and continuing between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Friday. So could have 48 hours of major flooding here in Monroe near that tributary there. And then Snohomish at Snohomish. This is the one we were talking about, which could easily shatter that all-time high. And not only shatter it, but last in that zone for upwards of 24 hours. Which would be devastating to the low-lying areas of Snohomish and just outside of Everett city limits here in the valleys, including Highway 2, which goes through this area as well. Could cut off Highway 2 from Everett into Snohomish if this forecast were to verify. Just a devastating situation coming up for a lot of these areas. You know, a lot of areas already have devastation, and luckily the Skokomish dropped below moderate flood stage. But it gets within literally a centimeter of moderate flood stage again by tomorrow morning. But it's currently not expected to get above flood stage again until... Looks like there's indications that we could have a big system coming through Tuesday morning as well, because it sends it back in the minor flood stage then. Tonight is round 2 for wind and rain in Enumclaw. Could get windy over there, but you're not included in the wind advisory for tonight. This is only for the immediate Puget Sound and the coast, the southwest interior as well. So, immediate Puget Sound area from Everett southward, not including the foothills. Southwest interior area down to Cowlitz County here, and the coast from Nia Bay down to Grayland, where the county warning area cuts off, including Shelton, the coastal beaches such as Ocean Shores and Westport. Alright, well luckily it looks like some of the flood warnings are no longer further notice. They're actually giving them end times. So the Snohomish River near Monroe is expected to remain in flood stage until December 13th at 5:54 a.m. So 4 more days for that. But the flood warning for the Snoqualmie near Carnation is still until further notice. Same with the Snohomish at Snohomish here, until further notice. No end time for that right now. The flood warning for the Green River near Auburn is also until further notice. The same with the Skagit River near Concrete. Skagit River near Mount Vernon is until further notice. And the Cowlitz River near Randall is until further notice. Highway 2 heading into Everett should be fine as long as they don't close eastbound due to log jams. Highway 2 from Snohomish to Monroe. Okay. Thank you, Krista, for the clarification. City of Auburn is monitoring river levels closely as back-to-back atmospheric rivers bring heavy rain to our region. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has delivered temporary flood control barriers for potential placement along the... This is from the City of Auburn, is that right? Crews are ready to install barriers if needed. Potential placement along the White River Trail near the A Street Bridge. Basin is saturated. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers must release increased flows from Mud Mountain Dam. Outflows are expected to reach about 12 kilocubic feet per second by Wednesday morning. Local minor flooding possible. It's outside the White River near the A Street Bridge. Increased flows on the Green River may also reach minor flood stage later this week, but they, as you guys just saw, they updated it to moderate flood stage now. Actions are standard during major storm events, but conditions can change quickly. What about the Nisqually and the Deschutes? Yeah, so Nisqually right now, national. This is from the headwaters of the Nisqually here down to the park entrance, including National, Ashford, and Elby. So this is from Mount Rainier down to Alder Lake. Major flooding is forecast, but not currently occurring. The river peaked last night, early this morning, at around 2:30 a.m. and receded below flood stage temporarily. A bank is still full. KHP 60 incoming. I don't think so. Was it an upgrade, was there? All right. Yeah. Sorry about the wait, Riley Rain. My apologies. Just had to take care of something real quick. So the Nisqually is expected to major flood from Mount Rainier downstream to Alder Lake, and they're doing dam releases here at the La Grande Dam also, which could flood Nisqually downstream for areas such as Yelm and McKenna too. A lot of people are criticizing Tacoma Power for not releasing this dam earlier, but the water level earlier in their defense was below the spill stage. So this all came in very sudden, which means that they didn't have much time to to release that. Yeah, and then the Deschutes here is currently minor flooding. This, I believe, is a kind of a surprise because it was only expected to hit a bank full stage, but actually is currently minor flooding and hit a peak crest of 12.22 feet at, let me see if I can get an exact time for you here real quick. At 7:15 this morning, hit a max peak of 12.22 feet, which is minor flood stage, but is expected to dip below and remain below flood stage after 4 p.m. this afternoon. You live in Yelm, okay. Yeah, I bet you're watching this dam release very closely then. But only minor flooding is expected. Okay, here. Hang on. So yeah, so the Nisqually here near Yelm is expected to hit minor flood stage by 10 a.m. tomorrow and remain at minor flood stage until 10 p.m. Thursday. You could stay at minor flood stage for a little over a day here, just a heads up. Yelm and McKenna area downstream to the Nisqually Delta. Okay, my best friend is the operator for the Centralia power plant. All right. Good to see you have a really credible source of information. That's reassuring. You're seeing flooding on the Olympic Peninsula at Quilcene or Brennan. Not along the rivers right now. They don't have any aerial flood warnings or advisories at the moment, but there could be isolated areas of ponding with some of the showers coming through. You know, that I currently don't have the capability of looking at. You know, it would be easier to look at if they had traffic cameras along Highway 101 here, but no, this is a dead zone from Quilcene all the way down into Lilywop, basically. There's nothing here in the Brennan area. Even then, I don't think Quilcene has any traffic cameras either along Highway 101. So I'm not seeing any current flood observations, though. Certainly no river flooding up there right now, though. See, the Duckabush and the Big Quilcene River are at okay levels. Yeah, so this is from William Gatlin here on Facebook, one of my new YouTube moderators. This is the Green Valley meets in Auburn along Green Valley Road. See, underwater here. At least up to the first step, it is under some water. Thank you, William, if you're watching, for sharing. Yeah, very hard to monitor there for sure. Slides are an issue later, absolutely. We already had a slide up on I-90 earlier that shut down I-90 near North Bend, I believe it was, overnight. But combined with that power outage still affecting Snoqualmie Pass, it's just not good news up there. Really, really not great news up there. So yeah, in case you wanted to recap on which rivers are currently flooding. Let's turn off all the rivers that are okay. Let's turn off action stage as well, just to avoid any confusion. The only river major flooding at the moment here in Western Washington is the Cowlitz at Randall. Moderate flooding here at the Grays River, moderate at the Newaukum, the Snoqualmie at the Falls, and Snohomish near Monroe. Otherwise, we're seeing minor flooding in several spots, including the Snohomish at Snohomish, Skykomish near Gold Bar, Snoqualmie near Carnation, the Green River near Auburn, Puyallup River near Ording, the Deschutes near Rainier, Skokomish near Potlatch, Satsop near Satsop, Skookumchuck near Bucoda, Cowlitz at Kelso, and the Willapa here in Willapa. So current river flood situation here in Western Washington. Chehalis River rising fast on Highway 6 in Chehalis. It's working out at Alexander Park. Hopefully you got out of there very fast. No, I love Randall. Hope they're okay. Our favorite campsite is right on the river there. I wish I could tell you if it was okay for sure, but that gauge is pretty high right now. Over a half foot above major flood stage here at the gauge. But yeah, you're talking about Tidnapam or Tadenapam. Still not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but I've been to that little campground here too, right in Glenoma. Really nice park, right along the river there at the tail end of Rife Lake. But yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Tadenapam Park. Not looking good for them though, however, because it's going to hold a major flood crest, not only through this afternoon, but also from tomorrow morning all the way into Friday morning. So over 2 days possible of being over 22 feet here. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Emily. It is a great area. I've only been down in this area a handful of times in my life, so. But yeah, I do enjoy the scenery along Highway 12. I've been along the entirety of Highway 12 at least once from White Pass over to the Mary's Corner area. Forecast for Snohomish dropped to 33 feet. Snohomish at Snohomish? Yeah, they did just update it. It's 33.31, so 0.19 feet below the record level, which is good news. So we're no longer expecting, at least at this time, to break the all-time record high for the Snohomish at Snohomish. But it's still going to major flood by a huge margin, which is still devastating news. Again, it's going to be at major flood stage from around 4 p.m. tomorrow to 6 p.m. Friday. So over 48 hours here at major flood stage. Terrible situation still likely to unfold for the Snohomish River Valley from the Snoqualmie Skykomish tributary downstream to Everett. But luckily, the city limits of Everett I believe, are well above the river level. So I think downtown Everett should be okay. Surrounding areas, though, not going to be a fun time. When's the next round coming in? Well, I guess it's a good time to look at some weather models, right? Let's see what we got hot off the press here. Let's see some scattered showers up here in the foothills of King County, putting a little more pressure on the Snoqualmie and Tolt rivers. As we move out today, as the atmospheric river moisture axis pushes south of the area. Let's zoom out a little bit to show you guys a better image. Then round 2 is expected to begin sometime Tuesday afternoon. High resolution model guidance has it pushing into the Seattle area sometime between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Tonight. And again, just a continuous fire hose on us. This time, it looks like it's going to be angled a little bit more to the north this time. So this could put a little less pressure here on these southwest Washington rivers. And rain shadow again possible over Seattle, Everett, and surrounding areas, such as the North Kitsap Peninsula. And eastern Jefferson County here as well. Could be in a rain shadow throughout the day, Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's see, it's pretty much darn near continuous there on the North Cascades. All the way from this afternoon into Thursday morning. Before we get a little bit of a dry break by the looks of it. This is high resolution model guidance. So this is the new high resolution forecast hot off the press. So it's looking like the next round for the general Seattle area is coming in this afternoon right before the sun sets. So enjoy the dry day while you have it if you're north of this cutoff line here. So north of Lewis County, if you're not getting showers right now, enjoy the brief drying because it's going to be very short-lived. 12Z Euro is very windy for the next few days. Let's go check it out. Must be a pretty big uptrend, but let's check out the 12Z Euro for precip as well. See if it agrees with the NAM. Yeah, this could be due to resolution issues, but it does have the precipitation down here in the southwest interior as well. But it does keep the heaviest precip to the North Cascade rivers, which could put some more pressure on the Nooksack up there as well as the Stille, and especially the Skagit, which is expected to hit major flood stage by either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So the Skagit's going to be a crucial situation up there, but this will also affect the King County rivers like the Snoqualmie, Tolt, and Skykomish downstream also. Yeah, I see it brings a pretty strong cold front through on Sunday. That'll kick up the wind. And then a much stronger cold front system Monday morning also. And then it just, geez, we're going into fantasy land here, but it's just front after front after front. This would be a windstorm if this were to verify, but we're over 9 days in the future, so this is likely going to change. If this holds, this would be a pretty big windstorm for our area Thursday morning. This is Thursday the 18th. Got to reiterate, Thursday the 18th. It's just that also has windstorm potential the day before Christmas Eve. You notice one thing you don't see? Lowland snow. I'm going to check out the winds on this. This is probably going to be insane. Not as bad as I thought. No, that's as bad as I thought. Just had to go to the next frame. But again, this is 9.5 days in the future. Take this with a grain of salt. This is likely going to change. Let's check what the Euro has for this area in the short term. Yeah, the Euro agrees with the high resolution guidance around the area. Euro agrees with, I haven't even checked the HER yet, but I checked the NAM. Oh, actually, I didn't check the NAM for winds. We only checked the NAM for rain. So we'll have to go check the NAM and the HER to show what they say. So we'll check that out here in just a second. It shows it getting exceptionally windy tomorrow afternoon and late morning between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Hopefully this does not verify for our area, because this would have some gusts upwards of 45 miles per hour. and especially strong in those areas where the flooding's happening right now. See, like, it even has 60 miles per hour here near Gold Bar, where that major flooding happened last night. That would not be good whatsoever. And next Monday as well with that system that they're hinting at. Looking breezy, but nothing exceptionally strong at the moment. But next Wednesday, we'll be watching next Wednesday, even though it's 8 days in the future, destined to change. But we'll be watching that as well for the potential for windy conditions around the area. Yeah, but let's check out the high-res model guidance, see what it has to show. Yeah, it shows it being pretty windy into... See, and then you notice we have that cold front come through again. Although a different cold front, but this also drags in the northwesterly flow into Everett. Albeit likely not as strong as some areas saw last night. But it does have it pretty breezy, even borderline blustery here for some areas, although I think this is probably going to be an overestimation, and hopefully it is. Bright light in the sky here in Everett. I don't know, never heard of it. But yeah, this shows strongest winds peaking around the Seattle area southward 10 a.m. tomorrow. But wind gusts beginning around the area by 8, maybe 9 p.m. tonight. So we'll have to watch this closely tomorrow morning too. It could be really windy some areas tomorrow morning. But even with little winds like 30 miles per hour, remember, super saturated soils. It's going to allow trees to move out of place much easier. It could easily bring down trees' power lines. You know, so the threat of wind damage is highly elevated, even with lower end wind gusts. This is why I can't stress this possibility enough. Pioneer Highway closed in Stanwood from a viewer. So yeah, that's the NAM. Let's see what the HER has to show. So let's go 12Z. See what the 12Z has to say. Yeah, the HER agrees with it, but it's not as robust for the area, which is good. It's right around the same for the Tacoma area, maybe a different time in the day, but a lot less robust north of Seattle. Also picks up on that front coming through very well as well. Pretty hard to see on simulated radar imagery, but you can see the front coming through right there. Probably going to be similar to what we saw last night for some of these areas. Updated flood statement product. Okay. So this is from the National Weather Service in Seattle, currently showing flood warnings and their expected flood levels for area zones. I'll comment and paste this into the comment section for you Facebook and YouTube folks. Yeah, this is the way to see where the current flood warnings are by zone, by county, and what severity level, as well as the impacts. So forecast and expected impacts, and the stages as well. So really cool product here by NWS Seattle. As you can see, we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 major flood warnings. We have 8 moderate flood warnings and 5 minor flood warnings. Looks like we just hit 50 viewers here on YouTube for the first time today. Welcome, everyone. We had another wildly successful stream last night, so I'm expecting to get an invite to the YouTube Partner Program here in the next 4 days or so. We should be able to enable some of those additional stream features, hopefully sometime next week, such as super chats and channel memberships like a lot of you guys have requested. Coming soon, most likely, barring any unusual YouTube setbacks. So yeah, let me count again how many total flood warnings we have in effect right now. It doesn't keep... Oh, because my mouse keeps going over to the third screen. Hang on. I think I got it this time. Nope. Apparently I don't. Alright, this time I got it for sure. We're just going to use the down key. We have 26 flood warnings in effect for the Seattle County warning area. Not counting river flood warnings issued by the NWS in Portland for the southwesternmost 5 counties in Washington. I think we have a total of 30 of them. We have at least 30 total flood warnings in effect for all of Western Washington. Wonder when's the last time that happened. Don't even have any ideas in recent memory of when that last happened. Let's show you guys the flood forecasts again. Minor flooding for the Nooksack. Let's turn off bank full stage. That'll clean it up a little bit. Interesting they don't list White River. Did they not list the White River? Interesting. Oh, yeah, that's why. Because they're not going to issue the flood warning on this until either today or tomorrow. Because the max crest isn't expected until Thursday. Which means they usually wait until about 12 to 24 hours out. Which, you know, I don't know if I agree with that. But, yeah, they don't have a flood warning for the White River yet. They also don't have a flood warning for the Cedar yet. So expect flood warnings for the Cedar and the White coming up in the next, hopefully, 24 hours or less. That's why. Even though it's predicted to hit major flooding, it's not predicted to hit major flooding until Thursday morning. Which means at the earliest, we'll see a flood warning for this area either tonight or early tomorrow morning. So yeah, major flooding is forecast for the Skagit here near Mount Vernon and Concrete, the Snohomish at Snohomish and Monroe, Skykomish near Gold Bar, Tolt near Carnation, Snoqualmie near Carnation, Snoqualmie at the Falls, White at R Street here in Auburn, Puyallup near Ording, Carbon near Fairfax, Nisqually near National, and Cowlitz at Packwood and Randall. But currently, only the Cowlitz at Randall is major flooding at this time. For moderate, we have the Stille here in Arlington, Cedar River at Renton and Landsberg, Green River near Auburn, South Prairie Creek, Chehalis at Porter, Chehalis near Grand Mound, Skookumchuck near Bucota, and Newaukum near Chehalis, which is currently at moderate flood stage. And outside of the county warning area, but still in western Washington, we have the Grays River at Rossburg, which hit major flood stage last night. Same with the Nacelle here, too. They both hit major last night. And for minor flooding, we have the Nooksack here, North Cedarville and Ferndale, the North Fork Stille outside of Arlington going up towards Oso, South Fork Stille here in Granite Falls, Issaquah Creek, White River at the Mud Mountain Dam, Puyallup River at Puyallup between Puyallup and Fife city limits, Skokomish near Potlatch, which hit moderate flood stage last night, now down to minor flooding, Nisqually here at McKenna. There's no minor flood forecast for the Deschutes, but it is currently minor flooding, but is expected to go below bank full stage today. Satsop here near Satsop, which is also currently minor flooding. Chehalis at Centralia, this is the newest one, I believe. So Centralia, you are in a flood warning for minor flooding now. And then outside the county warning area, but still in western Washington, are the Cowlitz at Castle Rock and Kelso. That's a little summation of what's going on here at each river, noted by the squares. Looks like the Snoqualmie near Carnation is now at moderate flood stage. Thank you from Auburn. Yes, please heed the warnings. Flood warning should be coming here the next 24 hours for the White River here at Auburn. And since they are expecting major flooding still, that will likely activate the EAS system, the emergency alert system. So you may get an alert on your TV or phone, possibly, if you're down there. At the very least, sign up with the City of Auburn text alerts, assuming they have a system like that. But yeah, we hit moderate flood stage at 10 a.m. here in Snoqualmie city limits. Expected to hit major flood stage with the first crest by 4 p.m. today. So just heads up, you have about 5 hours or so before this river is forecast to hit major flood stage in Carnation city limits. Major flooding also again forecasted for the Tolt River near Carnation. Upstream. I've been upstream this river before. You do not want to be in this river valley when it floods, especially a major flood. There's several properties down here in the river valley along this road here. Trust me, it's going to be very difficult to get out of there in the event of a sudden flood, which is why they're stressing the Tolt Dam so much upstream. If this thing were to break, it would devastate Carnation and surrounding areas. But luckily, we're not anticipating anywhere close to a dam breach. So let me make that clear. No dam breach expected. Just still major flooding along the Tolt River here, but no sudden dam breach. Whoa, I did not know you could do that. I just hit the right key on accident, and I just completely went 3D there for a second. Good late morning, everyone. Hello again, Anita. Welcome back on YouTube. I think I got another submission here from a fan. Let's go check it out. Yeah, Pioneer Highway in Stanwood between Marine Drive, 70th Avenue Northwest is closed due to water over the roadway. So this was shared to me by a Facebook viewer. So this is outside of Stanwood High School. So I'd like to say... Okay, so Pioneer Highway here is closed. I think this is just south of the main road going into Stanwood. So you're just south of this little complex here. This is closed. Remember, I gotta share the stream to my other social media sites as well. Once again, wondering about the wind, says Lisa Bassett. Great view area. See an advisory from 8 p.m. tonight to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. They're only warning for wind gusts of 40 miles per hour, though. Yeah, don't worry, it's all good. I'll go over it one more time. I just need to cross post the link to some areas real fast. Forgot to post it to Twitter and Blue Sky. See, a lot of you guys following me on Blue Sky now. We're up to 113 followers. All right, let's check some things out here, shall we? Okay, so wind advisory. Yeah, hang on just a second. This was issued at 6:05 this morning. Doesn't go into effect until 8 p.m. tonight. 40 is tolerable, but the soil is extremely saturated in a lot of these areas, which is why they're even putting this out. Otherwise, 40 miles per hour is below threshold for the advisory. However, due to the saturated soils, they are still putting this out as a huge precaution for all of the areas affected. South to southwest winds 20 to 30 with gusts to 40 miles per hour. 8 p.m. this evening to 8 p.m. Wednesday. And it's anywhere in the black lines here. So, you see yourself in the black contours here. You are included in the wind advisory. This is for the coast from Nia Bay down to Pacific County here. So coast is included. The Olympic foothills here. So Neilton, Amanda Park, Wishka, Hump Tulips area. You're also included in this. Same with Forks as well. Parts of Mason County, Hood Canal area. So Shelton, Allen, Great View, Belfair. Hoodsport, Lilywop. You're included in this as well. Downtown Olympia, downtown Tacoma, downtown Seattle, downtown Everett. Chehalis, Centralia, I-5 corridor down to Cowlitz County. Again, this does not include the foothills. So this does not include areas east of I-405 right now, except for just outside of Monroe city limits here. But Monroe eastward, you are not included in this. This only goes up to the Marysville area. So Marysville is the top end of this alert up here. Don't tell me someone's starting conspiracy already. Hopefully someone's not about to start a conspiracy in the Facebook comments. Be watching that closely. So yeah, this includes cities such as Tumwater, Olympia, Lacey, Yelm, Nisqually. Black Hills area also included. PL area here in Lewis County. You know, Highway 12, Highway 8 corridor. So Elma, Montesino, Central Park, Hoquiam, Aberdeen, Westport, Ocean Shores. Greater Tacoma metro area, also including Federal Way, Kent, Renton, and SeaTac. Seattle city limits here does not include Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, or anywhere east. In southwestern Snohomish County here, including Linwood, Mount Lake Terrace, Mukilteo, Edmonds, as well as Everett city limits. This does include the town of Snohomish, Lake Stevens, and Marysville. So if you heard your name of the name of your city called, you're in this, as well as Vashon Island, Key Peninsula, Gig Harbor area, Port Orchard, Bremerton, Silverdale, Paulsbo, Kingston, and Bainbridge Island. You are also included in this wind advisory tonight. Yeah, Lisa, a few areas did verify the wind advisory yesterday, including here in the Federal Way area, where we got a rogue 47 mile per hour wind gust after 11 p.m. last night, over an hour after the wind advisory expired. None of us were expecting that. We got 49 miles per hour at Tacoma Narrows, and we got 46, I believe, up in Everett at Payne Field. So some spots did verify the wind advisory, but over 80% of the area did not see wind advisory level winds. Thank you, Dagmar DeVere, for your donation of 200 stars. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And good morning, Tara, Wallmama84 on YouTube. Welcome into the stream. Anytime now, hopefully we should have a moderator come in. I gave like 3 or 4 people mod status yesterday. I think I gave 3 people mod status, so hopefully one of them shows up very soon. So yeah, wind advisory for anywhere in the black contours again. It does not include foothill spots like Gold Bar, Monroe, Snoqualmie, North Bend, Enumclaw, Buckley, Maple Valley, Black Diamond, Hobart. You are not included. In Bellevue, Kirkland, you are not included. Eatonville area, LB, Ashford, not included. It's also Bonnie Lake, you're just on the outside of this, but you may get some stronger wind gusts, possibly, since you're right up there on the edge of the hill. So yeah, that's the wind advisory. Current winds at the moment, nothing to talk about, so we're not even gonna bat an eye over that. See, at my station up the road here, measured a trace of precip so far today. Go back to yesterday. By midnight, we ended up getting just over 1 3/4 inches. I predicted 1.75, and we got 1.76 by midnight. So whopping 1.76 inches here in Federal Way, Milton area. And this doesn't pick up wind gusts from the west, south, or southwest very well because of trees. But it looks like the max wind gust we got was around 21.5 miles per hour, 10:29 last night. But Matt's station up the road from mine picked up a 47 later on, which is insane, to say the least. And speaking of the devil, I was just talking about him. Hello, Matthew. Welcome in. You got 1.76. Guess what? I got the exact same number. I was just talking about that. Did you see that? Exact same. Like, what are the chances? I was talking about that Rogue 47 you got last night, too. My station doesn't orient well with southerly, westerly, or southwesterly winds. So my station only got a max. It froze, but it only got a max 21.5 at around 10:40 something last night, I think. Yeah, not seeing any major changes right now since I last updated. The Nooksack at Ferndale is at bankful stage at this time. So random, really odd, but it shows the same time as the station you're showing. Yeah, so I unfortunately have those trees behind me, so they most likely absorbed about half of that wind gust. But yeah, still showed over 20 miles per hour during that time. So we must have had a really rogue southwest gust come through. But it was behind the front by that time. So it might actually. What direction was your wind gust out of, Matthew? Was it northwest or was it southwest? Realize it's a 24-hour advisory, but any clue when the peak hours are? Yeah, we can check the model forecast again. The models are going to vary slightly on this, but we'll check out the hourlies first. Assuming it decides it wants to reload here. So the HER model here has wind gusts picking up by 9 p.m. tonight across much of the area. It has wind gusts peaking around this area between 2 a.m. and looks like about 6 a.m. So pretty early in the morning. Then notice westerly surge comes through again, and we get yet another frontal passage similar to what we saw last night in some areas. So expect a wind shift again from southwest to northwest when this front moves through. The front should once again effectively shut off winds, in theory, for most areas except if you're downstream from the strait here. Unfortunately, the site's laying an egg on me, so hang on just a second. Yeah, we're going to have to refresh. Hang on, folks. So the front is expected to move through the Seattle area around 9 p.m. last night. So this is going to happen around the same time as last night, but maybe a little bit slower than the propagation of last night's front. It should be relatively around the same. So we'll have to watch the Hoquiam area. Maybe we'll get another downslope wind gust off the Olympics, where we had that 68 mile per hour gust last night. From Skagit County half hour ago. Flood warning issued for Skagit County, major flood expected. Yeah, they upgraded it from a flood watch to a flood warning, but a flood watch does remain in this area until Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon, yeah. Sunny and calm in Carbonado. I do notice the clouds breaking up out my window. A little bit of a break before the next round comes in. But the next round is looking stronger for most areas and seems to be orienting the moisture axis more towards the North Cascades, with some of it still reaching down into areas like the Pierce County Cascades, especially the King County Cascades too. So we'll be watching the Tolt, Skykomish, and Snoqualmie very closely as the next round of rain comes in. Yeah, like I said, this has max wind gusts peaking sometime around, looks like right now on the HER model. We're going to compare this to the NAM model, but the HER model shows 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. for much of the area. And again, remember, foothills, you are not included in this advisory. But some areas could still see a wind gust of 40 miles per hour possible. But again, this is on the higher side of things. So as we saw for over 80% of you guys last night, this did not work out. Okay, so let's check a few other things out here. Okay, then. That isn't going to change. There's always a chance for it to change, always. But right now they have the highest confidence that the wind gusts are going to be in the immediate Puget Sound area, southwest interior, and along the coast. But not the foothills. And not anywhere north of Marysville. Could still see an isolated strong wind gust here and there, but it's going to be extremely difficult to predict where and when. So just do be advised. Now looks to me like the boys had a fun time at the falls this morning. Happy you didn't. With trees go down yesterday with 40 or so, I'm hoping no stronger than that. People in Bellevue were telling me of hearing trees going down too. And they don't have a lot of coverage from the NWS certified stations up here, so it was really hard to tell where exactly they were talking about in Bellevue. They mentioned Bellevue had some wind damage as well, and we saw from those sporadic power outages, including the power outage still affecting Snoqualmie Pass at this time. So we did have quite a few power outages, several thousand at one point. Just not as much as Friday night. Yeah, don't worry. It's all good, Kim. Understood. But let's go compare this to the NAM model real quick, which again could also be on the high side of things and perfect for just getting our 18Z HER to render. That means 18Z NAM is going to be right behind it. But the NAM's a little more oversaturated on this. I think the NAM's severely overdoing this, judging by recent model performance. So I'm going to take this with a huge grain of salt. This has wind gusts really kicking up around the area by 10 p.m. tonight, lasting much longer, even peaking later on in the afternoon as well. So we could have some wind gusts, if this were to verify, then we could have some 45 mile per hour gusts in some of these areas, but most likely closer to 35 to 40. Some of the Puget Sound area, as well as some of the hillsides here along I-90, and some of the extreme eastern foothills of Pierce and King and Snohomish counties by around noon tomorrow. Then this would likely continue to be blustery until once again shows good agreement on that front. but the timing is much different. The NAM has the front moving through later on, or really early in the morning on Thursday compared to late at night tomorrow. So again, timing a big difference between these model runs. So we're not going to be able to really track this until it's in real time. Euro typically has a better reputation for pretty much every metric for our area. Overall, yes. And if you have Weather Bell Premium, which I had before, but unfortunately had my bank decline it for future purchases for some reason, it can show you Euro wind gusts on an hourly basis. But here on Pivotal Maps, on Pivotal Plus is what they call it, this is only in 6-hour max increments. So you can see for this area, it's still showing some areas of 40 plus, even some 50 plus up here along I-90 too. Yeah, this does include the Preston, North Bend, and Snoqualmie areas. A lot of areas impacted by that flooding. See, it's even showing 60 up here by Gold Bar, which would be ridiculous. But again, it could be a resolution error as well. So not expecting it to be this strong. I think even the Euro may be overdoing it quite a bit, but we'll just have to wait and see. This would be between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow. And then showing much less around the area overnight tonight. Between 10 p.m. tonight and 4 a.m., showing less than 40 miles per hour Seattle southward. And much less here, again, in the wind shadow, Chehalis River Valley here. The Willapa Hills really absorbed those southwest winds quite well for the Chehalis area. So the Euro shows peak wind gusts between 10 a.m. and looks like 10 p.m. Just moves those wind gusts a bit farther north towards Everett. This is around the time that the westerly surge will come in. Again, due to the relatively west-southwest to east-northeast orientation of this front, it's going to pull in the winds from the northwest through this area instead of through the west, giving Everett some of these stronger winds, likely. Just hopped on, Amanda says. What are we expecting, Buckley, Enumclaw? Not expecting too much. Could get breezy throughout the night tonight and tomorrow morning. But you're not included in the wind advisory that was issued for the Puget Sound, Southwest Interior, and Coast for tonight through tomorrow night. Anywhere east of Bellevue and Kirkland, an exception for the town of Snohomish, is not included in the wind advisory tonight. Not expecting strong wind gusts. But if the European does end up right, like most of the time it is, it has had its busts recently, like Friday night's wind in the area was a bust for some areas. But if this does verify, it does show stronger up here in the foothills, which maybe the NWS will see this and possibly expand the area of that wind advisory tonight. But we will just have to wait and see. It's going to be a real-time ordeal. Then this has wind coming down all around the area by Thursday morning. So it should be relatively short-lived. Again, expecting that frontal feature to come through again, which could bring those locally stronger gusts like we had last night. Hey Keith, good morning, welcome in. Good to see you. So yeah, even the Euro shows this front pretty clearly moving through the area. Sometime between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. I think her model was a little bit early on this because both the NAM and the Euro show this front moving through the area sometime overnight going into Thursday morning. Any idea how much rain we should be expecting? Well, let's get an estimate on that real quick. We'll get the latest NAM to see what it has to say. So through today, see the rain starts to pick up again along the coast and the higher elevations when that moisture axis bounces back to the north tonight. But through midnight Wednesday, tomorrow, has around a half inch for Tacoma, quarter inch for Seattle, and a little under a half inch for Everett, with another potent rain shadow here possible over much of the area. So we could have another one of those big donut holes over the Seattle area that kept you guys mostly dry for the first chunk of yesterday. Yeah, Woodinville, I believe, was included in that. As far as I know, I think Woodinville is included in that. Because it goes around Bellevue, Kirkland, and then includes parts of southwest Snohomish County as well. So yeah, wind gusts to 40 miles per hour possible. Doesn't sound like much, but again, super saturated soil will elevate damages in localized areas. Then as we go through Wednesday, see the totals start to pile up in the mountains and along the coast. As we go to 12 a.m. Thursday, we're up over an inch for Tacoma, but see rain shadow in full effect here for the Seattle area. Northeastern Clallam County, eastern Jefferson County, northern Kitsap, and southern Island and southwest Snohomish counties, with significantly less rain compared to the surrounding area. Looks like we may even have some shadowing down here in the southern Chehalis and Newaukum valleys too, which is pretty interesting to see. Could have sort of a Willapa or North Coast range rain shadow possibly. Little interesting signature there. But still, for the Olympia area, Tumwater south to Grand Mound has over an inch and a quarter, upwards of an inch and a half in some areas from now until Thursday at midnight. And we can go out another 12 hours to Thursday at noon. See, not many places change with that. Looks like the rain shadow fills in a little bit, but not too much. Seattle could get up to a half inch if they're lucky. Then by the end of the run, another 4 hours later, very minimal changes. So this is what we're expecting right now according to high-res guidance for the next 60-hour period. So again, Olympia area around an inch, Tacoma around an inch, Seattle a little under a half inch. In the lowest rain shadow area, it has less than a tenth of an inch over parts of the Hood Canal area. That would be an impressive rain shadow. How far east is that donut hole looking like it reaches? It could reach into the foothills of King County a little bit. It could easily reach into areas like Carnation and Duval, possibly. That's about as far east as it reached yesterday. Maybe it possibly got a little bit farther east, but I wasn't watching the radar like a hawk the entire time. Documents on flooding Covington Maple Valley. Does not look like Covington and Maple Valley are in the rain shadow. It's looking like you'll get some of the higher precip amounts around the area, around the immediate Puget Sound area. You know, but showing, again, ridiculous rainfall totals here in the Snoqualmie headwaters. Very severe situation likely to unfold for the Snoqualmie here Wednesday into Thursday. Not looking great. Look, just over the initial headwaters up here, 10 inches of rain over the next 60 hours. Carbon River is raging up here, Mount Rainier, USA. Thank you for the report. 2 to 3 inches of rain in the next system up in Bellingham, says Keith. Yeah, looks like you should be getting more rain because, again, the moisture axis is going to be a little bit farther to the north than we saw yesterday. So bouncing down to Oregon right now, but it's going to gradually come back up and hit Washington again. But it should stick to more of the central northern half of the state this time around. So we may get a needed break for some of these rivers down here. But still showing quite a few higher rain amounts here in the foothills of Lewis, Cowlitz, Skamania counties. See, this is where some of the rivers like the Skookumchuck and the Newaukum feed off of. So, big concern for those two. Cedar is just north of me, and the Snoqualmie isn't much further. What about us down south Windlock Centralia area? Yeah, if this model is correct, you could get some rain shadowing down there. I'm still not sure of the exact reason for that. But it has a very localized rain shadow here directly over the Windlock Vader Toledo area down here. But if you're talking wind gusts, then again, this is an overestimation most likely. But showing you guys in sort of a wind shadow down here too, with wind gusts maybe not even reaching 35 miles per hour during this event. Because you have the Willapa Hills and the Coast Range blocking most of the southwest wind coming in. See, and then that front comes through again and wipes everything away. Yeah, seeing a lot of flooding videos, especially for the Snoqualmie. I haven't seen any daytime videos for the Puyallup or Carbon yet, though. So if anyone has any links to any videos, feel free to share them. Or any photos also. Thank you guys for sharing the stream on Facebook. I see a few of you guys have shared. Can't believe people are really giving haha reactions to the major flooding for the Skykomish. They've got to be trolling me. Because there's no way they're serious about that. No way. And again, guys, if you have any photos or videos to share, I made a thread earlier this morning before the live stream. If you guys want to comment your photos and videos that you may have took, due to concerns with copyright, just make sure they're not copyrighted. If you do, I would prefer your own photos or videos as long as you would like to share them. I'll give full credit to you. But, again, due to copyright and DMCA fair use concerns, due to the monetization of the Facebook platform, I'd rather not show them on public unless you give me permission to see your own documented photos and videos. Like, for example, Ben with Washington Weather Chasers has some drone footage he just took. But I'm not going to show it on the stream with respect to him and his copyright. Yeah, absolutely not funny. That's right, Tawny. Think they're just people trying to get a reaction. Here's one thing I will show you real quick, and I'll give credit to the city of Puyallup because they don't have any watermarking on this, so the big concern would be the watermarking. But this is the Riverwalk Trail by the looks of it. Yeah, Riverwalk Trail here in Puyallup, completely flooded over. Looks like this is just northwest of city limits here near River Road. I think that might be either Valley Avenue or Levy. I think that's Levy, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Looks like this is right around the Kroger Distribution Center there in Puyallup. How is Preston looking for next wind? Well, you're not included in the wind advisory, so the NWS right now is not calling for wind gusts of 40 miles per hour or greater for your area. But models do show possibly higher, although they're having a hard time struggling to get the timing right. Now, the European is mostly the best in this category, and even it has 40 to 50 miles per hour for the Preston area, but this could be a huge overestimation. Again, due to the saturated soil, it doesn't take much to bring down those trees much more easily than dry soil. So that's why I'm trying to really emphasize the effects of even a little breeze could easily bring trees down if the soil is oversaturated. So just do be advised, though. This would be between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow. Even has it getting gusty for you between 10 p.m. tonight and 4 a.m. tomorrow. You're like right in here. So just a heads up to you, Robin and Preston area. See a lot of you guys hopping on here on YouTube. Hello, welcome. Anthony here with Puget Sound Stormwatch. Welcome back to live breaking flood coverage around the Western Washington region. Let's get a more recent update here on these rivers real quick for you guys. So could see flood warnings issued soon for the Nooksack. Could see a flood warning for the North Fork Still-Squamish, possibly. Likely to see flood warnings sometime in the next 24 hours here for the White River in Auburn and the Cedar River near Landsberg and Renton. Again, the White River is expected to hit major flooding for a while beginning Thursday. The major flooding possible between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Thursday. We're hoping a flood warning gets issued as early as tonight for that area. And we may also have a flood warning as well for parts of the White River downstream from the dam too, from the Mud Mountain Dam. Also a possibility for some minor flooding here along the Nisqually at McKenna when TPU unloads some of this pressure on the La Grande Dam up here along the Nisqually. Otherwise, most of the rivers that need to be warned for flooding are already warned. And currently, yellow dots mean bank full stage, so no flooding, but close. But the orange dots here are minor flooding currently, so observed. And the Snohomish, near the town of Snohomish, is about to cross into moderate flood stage here, probably in the next hour or so. So just a heads up. Moderate flooding very likely shortly for the Snohomish River at Snohomish. I think Randy might be going out to do some video of the Nooksack. Yeah, hopefully if it's safe to do so. Minor flooding currently occurring at the Skokomish near Potlatch. This hit moderate flood stage last night, but has since receded. Minor flooding here at the Satsop, near the town of Satsop, and minor flooding here at the Deschutes as well. This was a little unexpected. I don't think the Deschutes was expected to flood in last night's forecast. Also minor flooding here at the Green River near Auburn too. East side of Auburn near Leah Hill. With moderate flood stage currently at the Snohomish near Monroe, Snoqualmie near Carnation, and Snoqualmie at the Falls. There's a lot of videos of the falls out there, and the falls are raging today. Moderate flooding here at the Grays River. This and the Nacelle both hit major flood stage last night, but are no longer expected to hit major flood stage. And then minor flooding currently at the Cowlitz River near Kelso. Also have moderate flooding for the New Wacom here in Chehalis, just southeast of city limits. And we have minor flooding at the Skookumchuck near Bucoda and the Chehalis near Grand Mound. Now, no longer seeing flooding here at the Chehalis near Doty, so the flood warning was allowed to expire early this morning. And the only river right now at major flood stage is the Cowlitz River at Randall. It's expected to remain at or above major flood stage now. Looks like they no longer have it dipping down to moderate. It's now above major from now all the way until Friday afternoon. Terrible news for Randall, Glenoma, and areas downstream to Rife Lake. How's the Green River in Kent doing? Green River in Kent looks okay right now. They have a few gauges out here, but I've disabled anything that shows no flooding right now. So no flooding in Kent at the moment along the river, at least not anything reported or seen on gauges. But the Green River here in Auburn city limits is flooding, and I've gotten reports of flooding here along Green Valley Road as well. So localized flooding currently occurring in parts of Auburn. But yeah, as Seuss Creek Productions said, standing water in some areas from the rain overnight and some rain this morning in some areas too. And we got a number of followers overnight. Looks like we got an additional 150 or so followers overnight. 33,255 here on Facebook. So thank you guys for following, sharing, and getting the message out to your friends and family. Expected to get more rain today, later tonight. Expecting the rain to move in later on tonight for the area, or this afternoon. It's probably not going to be till about 4 p.m. or afterwards. And we have the 18Z Her almost finished now. So we can at least check this out for wind gusts as well. Holds pretty steady compared to this last forecast, so again, could see some wind gusts 40 miles per hour or greater at times tonight. But also Wednesday night as well. And tomorrow morning also. Can't forget about tomorrow morning. Yeah, this has the wind gusts kicking up around the area late tonight and then getting a little stronger into early tomorrow morning before sunrise. Thank you, Cheryl Rich, for the report. Battleground, Washington. Flooding on the streets, rivers overflowing. Rain picking back up this afternoon, like Seuss Creek Productions said. So right now, most of the rain is south of Lewis County. But this moisture axis will begin to lift north tonight. And by 8 p.m. or so, we're expecting a heavier rainfall here around Olympia and some areas north. But again, picking up a pretty good rain shadow here for some of these areas. Sounds like my neighbors at my other house are having a fence put up, and my mom's worried about the dogs. Someone on Blue Sky commented, are there any particular areas that it'd be useful to have more documentation of? Got some time this week to go do some driving with the cameras. All right, guys. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap up the stream very soon because I'm gonna have to go watch my dogs. It's, you know, unfortunately, my neighbors chose during a storm to put up a fence, so we're gonna have to go and watch the dogs for quite some time. So, wish I could stay on with you guys longer, but probably gonna do one last recap. Oh man, not what I planned on doing today, but you know, things change. So sorry guys, we're gonna have to get wrapped up here very shortly. Hopefully I covered pretty much everything I needed for you guys. Again, highly recommend pages such as Washington Weather Chasers, Western Washington Weather, and Whatcom County Weather here on Facebook. If you want any additional if you want any additional guidance on any river flooding or winds around the area, because I'm gonna have to check out here a little bit. It's not an emergency, but it is something of urgency that I need to take care of here shortly. You know, not gonna have anyone home at my mother's house where we have 3 huskies and the neighbors are putting up a fence. So yeah. Yeah, they do tend to run away, especially huskies. And I guess my mom's there right now, but she has to leave in an hour. And the dogs are not reacting too well to the guys putting up the fence. So gonna have to go outside and watch them. So yeah, but anyway, guys, Anthony with Puget Sound Stormwatch here. Thank you all for tuning in. Hate to leave you guys early today, but got some urgent matters that I need to take care of very shortly. So, you know, really do appreciate you guys tuning in again. You all have a great day, and I'll hopefully see you guys later on. If I get back at a decent time, we'll do some streaming tonight as well. I'll let you guys know. If you're on YouTube, make sure you have that bell rung for future live stream notifications. Facebook, you should see when I go live. I'll have the live logo on my page, and you hopefully should get notified. But I'll notify you guys in the rapid update channel as well. So yeah, I have to get going here in a second. So again, appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I'll follow up with you guys later if I get back at a good time. Be back later. Hopefully be back later. But yes, I have 3 huskies I got to go watch. My mother's got some health problems and she needs to go to a doctor appointment, which is urgent. So I'm going to have to go watch things over there. So yes, absolutely. They need to get on Facebook and check their emergency sites for their county and jurisdiction. That is true, Dagmar. All right, guys. So hopefully follow back up with you guys later. Again, make sure those notifications are turned on for when I go live later on. Expecting a busy night tonight and a really busy day tomorrow. So watch out for live streams then as well if you don't catch me tonight. Otherwise, have a good one, everyone. Stay safe. Turn around. Don't drown.